What is up, guys, and welcome back to another Bojanian vlog. Oh man, how's it going? It's getting cold, man. Like, oh man, it's really cold. I hope you're not feeling the same degree of. I mean, I'm over exaggerating. Like, it's getting to that point where it's winter now, but like I'm not used to it, man. I've gone through several months where it's been warm and hot, and even as we were kind of moving into like October, like it was still really warm, but now it's seriously getting cold. But anyway, so in today's entry, I thought that I would depart slightly from I suppose the tone of my most recent entries. Just as a bit of a recap, like in the recent entries, I've been talking a lot about like pain. And like dysfunction and like like basically like things of that nature, like kind of more heavier stuff, I suppose, right? And yeah, though this entry will be related to that, right? And like there's always kind of an undercurrent, I suppose you could say, of those kinds of like heavier energies, like, or rather like, I don't know, I think it was like, I'm trying to jog my memory right now because it's been a while, but like, I think it was the last entry, or it could be the one before that one. I talked, or rather I explained why, I've been talking about pain and negativity and narcissism and things like that so much recently, right? And the gist of it was like, it's just like, it's so ubiquitous, like just pain and negativity that like you can't not talk about it basically. And like I thought that, as such, right, it's just one of those things, right, that it's omnipresent, right? And so the only way you can really honor it, I suppose, like is to try to treat it compassionately, right? And that's the kind of underlying kind of intention in me, talking about pain and just negativity and density and stuff like that. But like, so this entry is not going to be like, hopefully it's going to be a bit more kind of optimistic and positive, right? A bit more light, but it will be related, right? So it's not unrelated to like what I've been talking about recently, but like the tone will be slightly different, right? It's more of like a happy, optimistic, let's do it, spirituality 101 type of entry. So yeah, I hope you're looking forward to it. So yeah, in this entry I wanted to talk about the kind of journey to building a better life, basically, right? So like one of my main messages on this channel is to build a life that you love, to do what you love, to do what you're passionate about, so that you can give your like ultimate gifts, I guess, to the world, right? Because only your heart, sometimes your head, can get in the way and be like, hey, wait a minute, I must intervene, what you're doing is not entirely rational, or sensible. I think you should reconsider, right? Like we all have that brain that tells us to to calm down, right? Calm yourself, have a seat for a second, don't do anything rash, like we all have that voice within us. But when it comes down to it, if you follow that voice, and like I don't want to say it like this, right? Because like again, the tone of the century is supposed to be positive, right? But like, let's just say that if you are courageous enough, I suppose, right? Like if you love your heart enough to follow it, then like you will be tested, right? You like it will seem irrational, right? People will disagree with it. You will disagree with it at times. But like, as long as you love your heart enough to follow it, then you will ultimately know happiness, right? So pain and suffering, why do I talk about it so much? Because it's a part of life, right? We all have to go through it in this reality that's predicated on contrast, right? But you will know happiness and love if you follow your heart, right? That's the kind of trade-off, right? So that's one of my main messages on this channel. And really, I just wanted to give like a few kind of, I suppose, pieces of advice. Not really, to be honest. It's just like maybe some tips, or more like, accurately, like kind of things that I've, thought about in terms of like how we can facilitate this journey that we're on to do what we love, right? So the first tip that I want to give you is to is to embrace love. Right? Embrace love, yeah. Peace and love, man. And what I mean by this is, like, I've done like a plethora of entries, right, that are to do with, focus on the feeling of love, not on the promise of it, and like to consult your feelings, and to really champion what you love, right? And like a lot of these entries, like, they have love in the title, right, on my channel. The reason that is, right, is because I'm guessing that if you're watching this video, you are not like a quote-unquote like a hustler, in the sense, you may be, right, you may be, but like what you are, I'm telling you what you are right now, like, but no, my guess is that if you're watching this video, right, you are probably a light worker, right? Because I myself am a light worker, and so like the kind of vibes that I give out in these entries will probably kind of like resonate with light workers, and not like, like gangster hustler types, right? Like people who are like more pragmatic and realistic, and sensible and logical, like they probably won't find so much value in these videos, right? And so, yeah, so if you're watching this video, then like, I'm guessing you're a light worker, or like a sensitive, or a creative, a spiritual person, an old soul, And as such, right, it can be fucking difficult, right, as a light worker, as a sensitive person, to kind of do stuff sometimes. Right? As vague as that sounds, right? But in the sense that, like, yes, like, like being someone who feels a lot, right? You kind of like feel that, like, I guess you kind of feel guilty, right? As I do, right? When like you can feel so much pain and suffering around you, right? Again, just an objective statement, right? Like, when you're affected by it, right? But like, just objectively observing, right? Like, or rather stating, right? You go about life, and like you see things, and you experience things, and things happen, and like thoughts pop up in your head that are dense, that are heavy, that, and as such, as a sensitive person, right, as a light worker, it can be overwhelming, basically, right? And while there is value, right, and this is why, again, I've made a lot of entries about love, and like, follow your love, and embrace your love, and follow your heart, and do what you love. And that's exactly what I'm kind of reinforcing here. But at the same time, I've also done entries where I've talked about, you have to be tough. You have to be you have to throw down, when you have to, right? There is a time when you need to kind of stop trying to be overly positive, in a sense, life will test you, right? And that's why, again, same with pain, right? Life will test you, challenge you, right? It will bring pain to your life, to your experience, and as such, this ongoing process is a process that you kind of need to sit with, right? Which is why there are two parts to tapping into your sensitivity, or just life in general, spirituality 101, spirituality 2.0, right? Is that when it's going good, amplify that shit, right? When it's going good, amplify that shit. But when it's going bad, you can't be amplify that shit. You can't do that, right? You have to sometimes someone does come and sucker punches you in the face, and you have to know when not to engage, because to be fair, right, as sensitive people, right, sometimes we can, like I say, let it overwhelm us, right? But no, as much as you can help it, you want to maintain, your kind of love, right, in the face of the world that's full of pain and negativity and skepticism and cynicism. You want to you want to maintain optimism, right? We all intuitively understand this as light workers, as creative spirituals. We all understand this, that I want to champion light, right? But when it comes down to it, you have to throw down. In the same, it sucks, right? It really does, right? It's scary, it hurts, but as we kind of grow and mature and live life, we just know that after being punched in the face enough times, you know that sometimes you just have to get down, you have to throw down, right? Not literally, although it's pretty literal as a metaphor, right? Throwing down, fighting. Most of it will be emotional fighting, in terms of overcoming adversity and challenges, basically, right? But anyway, so there are two aspects or components or qualities that we all are familiar with, that we all understand, completely intuitively, right? Which is there's good and there's bad, there's light and there's shadow, right? Right. And the hint that I want to give, a bit of a long intro as usual, but is that presented with that duality or that dichotomy, as a light worker, champion light first. Champion light and love and passion and inspiration first. AKA, we all know, I'm guessing right, that there is light and shadow. There is joy and love and inspiration. And then there's sadness, anger, depression, jealousy, just hatred, disrespect, dysfunction. There's all these things, right? But there are these two things, right? And yes, you have to throw down when you need to throw down, right? But as a sensitive, as I said, right, it can be easy to be overwhelmed by negativity, right? It's just after a certain point, you're just you don't even know why. You're so you just suddenly feel so threatened and unsafe and depressed and and you just don't know what the fuck happened, right? You plummet into low vibration. What the fuck? I just want to make my art, man. I just want to live my life, like, and do what I love, and like progress. Like, why do I suddenly feel like shit? Right? As a light worker, sensitive person, have you ever felt that before? Because I suddenly have. You know, it's not remotely pleasant, right? So, as such, champion light first, right? What do I mean by this? I mean that when you're sitting there and you're depressed and you're down in the dumps again, and you're like, I don't know, man. You know, I'm working so hard, but like, I don't know why. Like, things aren't even that bad, or I don't even know, but maybe they are bad. And like, and you know, you're having that kind of dark night of the soul, or that you know, depressive episode, right? When you're in the midst of that, or in the middle of that, just remember that you are light and love. That exists within you. Remember the times when you make your art, when you speak your truth, when you're enveloped in like warmth and love and inspiration. Remember that feeling, you know. Take a walk if you need to, right? Go to the park, go for a walk, right? And as you breathe in the fresh air, the oxygen from the trees and the grass and the running water, or stagnant water, you know, lakes, right? There's usually lakes and parks, right? As you breathe that in, you remember that the beauty in life is what sets you on this journey, is what you were born to, is what sets you on this journey, right? Is what continues to drive you towards seeking more beauty. That feeling is the first thing that you should put in your life, right? Again, when you throw down, or when you like when life gives you lemons, like, you have to know when to like toughen up a bit. Like in terms of like, you know, you're not like don't just like, oh, like I don't know what to do, like, you know. And this will lead into the next point, right? The next hint I'm going to give you in this entry. But like, yeah, like, put your light first. Like, whenever you're thinking and feeling like that there's no point, and sure, like, the point is we all go through it, right? Like, I forgot to give my disclaimer that I usually give at the beginning of all of these videos. It's like, I am a rando, like, and I don't mean to sound like a broken record, you know, because saying that too much can be annoying, I'm sure, but like, the reason I say that is because, like, I'm literally a rando on the internet, and like, I guess part of me is saying that because, like, I guess I don't want to get attacked. Like, that's, I guess part of my ego is speaking, like, just being honest, right? But like, but like, another part of it is like, is like, we all feel how we feel, you know, in the sense that, like, I don't want what I'm saying to kind of invalidate anyone else's feelings, right? So, anyway, kind of had a bit of a mental fart there, but yeah, but hopefully that made sense, right? But like, yeah, so yeah, so whenever you feel like all hope is lost, you know, then if you can tap into that light for even a second, it will nourish you, right? Because there is a fine line, right? This is a caveat, you know, with this light shadow, you know, type of a thing, right? And feeling it out, as I mentioned in my pain entry. right? Being not clinging in low vibration, right, mentally to things, like good or bad, right? But really feeling it out and seeing what you actually feel, right? What is your genuine feeling behind your interpretation of it, right? Based on how you felt in the past, right? But but similarly, I keep losing my train of thought today. It's probably the coldness. Yeah, so yeah, okay, so you basically in those times, obviously, what I said just there meant that you can't just say oh, I'm gonna feel better and expect yourself to feel better. Again, it doesn't work like that, right? I explained in my entry about vibration, the first one. I likened it to climbing a mountain, right? Scaling the energetic mountain, right? You can't teleport. So you can't expect yourself to just change, right? But what you can do, and this actually leads into my next hint, is you can baby step it, right? Is you can remember, just be okay, for the next 5 seconds, I can focus. And you may not vocalize that in your mind, but eventually you'll get to a place where you can just leak a bit of light into your darkness and see what happens. If you're still dark, be dark. If you're still depressed, be depressed. If you're still angry, be angry, right? But you just leak a bit of light into your into your being, right? And see where it takes you, right? If it changes, amazing, right? You remember what you were doing, you remember your light. You remember the feelings of love that you hold towards the things that you love, right? You remember the type of life you want to build, right? And you're oh man, okay, yeah. And then it works, right? But if it doesn't, it doesn't, right? And then you sink into the darkness for a bit longer, maybe another 15 minutes pass, and you say, okay, and I'm gonna try it again, right? Again, I'm kind of describing the process, but to me it's a lot more intuitive and feeling based, right? I don't really think about it. I just kind of when I'm feeling down and depressed, I do either I do something or I think something that makes me feel happy, right? And then I see where it takes me, right? Sometimes it flips me completely, and I'm oh my god, I'm so happy now, right? But sometimes it doesn't, right? And if it doesn't, I'm okay, fair enough, right? I'm gonna wallow in my own depression, and obviously I'm not thinking that clearly when I'm depressed. I'm just fuck, but I just, yeah, I'm fuck, it didn't work, right? And then but then eventually it works, right? So I hope this I didn't explain this point that well, right? But I hope you kind of understand what I'm trying to say here, right? It's sometimes we as light workers, we kind of get bogged down by negativity, right? And we have this weird kind of awkwardness, well, we don't quite know what to do with it. Should we connect with it? Should we not? Would it be inauthentic to do this, or would it be authentic? I don't fucking know. I'm just depressed, but I don't know why I'm depressed. I just don't know. I didn't do all of this work just to be depressed again. But then again, I need to delve, and it's just circles and circles and circles, right? But what you can do to give yourself that relief, that okay, feeling, is remember to put light first, to champion light first, right? So I hope that was clear. If it wasn't clear, I might comment on it in a future video, or usually in the description I'm kind of a bit more I'm a bit more kind of articulate, I suppose, when I'm writing. So hopefully I'll flesh that out. But anyway, the second one is to baby step it, right? I already mentioned this, right? And it applies not only to how you feel, but also like any pursuit you have in life, right? So a good example of this. So for all of so this is for all of you who like just find it difficult to get motivated, just like you procrastinate and like you're just like you're not as productive as you want to be, you know. It's like, this is for you, right? Again, the reason I mentioned the disclaimer is, I remember now, like I kind of lost my train of thought before, but like it's because like I'm no expert. Like I speak sometimes like I'm an expert, and like I guess that's just kind of how I express myself, but like I'm not an expert, right? I'm giving you advice, but it's not really advice because I don't always follow it, right? I just kind of like present a message, and then like if it helps, it helps. If it doesn't, it doesn't, like kind of a thing, basically. If it doesn't, I'm sorry, you know. But like, yeah, just to say, like, you know, I'm no expert. I'm just an idiot, just rambling, right? And I try to give good ideas, but you know. Anyway, so yeah, so an example of mine is I'm a musician, right? As I mentioned it in pretty much all my entries, like, and so I play the piano, right? And I'm trying to get really good at the piano. I'm also trying to be a producer, right? So I'm trying to get really good at those two things. Piano for me is a bit more enjoyable because it's a bit more expressive, you know. Particularly like when you develop a certain skill level, like you can start to express yourself and improvise and stuff like that, and compose, you know. Basically it's like composing on the spot, just letting your feelings translate into music, and that's really, really like therapeutic, right? But the other side of it, production, is a bit more involved, is a bit more technical, and the results are not so immediate, right? And so for someone like me, you know, right brain dominant, scatterbrained, you know, impatience, you know, probably slightly ADHD or whatever, right? You know, like I'm just sitting in front of the computer. I'm like, oh man, I gotta to produce. I gotta open the thing, and then I gotta remember what I was doing, and then I've gotta listen to my track to warm up, but it's not finished yet, and like it just makes me more depressed the more I hear it, because like it's not finished, and it means I have a lot more to do, and it's just I don't know how, like I don't know. There's too many factors. It's creative work, right? There's just too many factors, and it's not like drawing. At least drawing, like, you kind of just like wing it, right? With music, you have to kind of imagine it in your head, and that's infinitely harder. It's like, you know, you go down that hole, right? So what do you do, right? Well, a lot of times you just kind of procrastinate, right? But over the long term, in order to build discipline and to kind of really set yourself on the path of that pursuit, you have to learn to enjoy the process. As I've mentioned, right, in previous entries about, like, you know, like this kind of thing, motivation, you know, being more productive, and the way that you learn to enjoy the process is you baby step it, right? Like, there's a big component of what you do if you love it, right? Which is inspiration based, right? So like you just kind of do it when you're feeling inspired, and it just kind of flows out of you, and it's enjoyable, right? And that's great, right? You don't like, you know, you don't need to fix that, right? If anything, you need to amplify that. So like, you know, the next time, like, so like, if you feel you're not productive enough, like, tap into your inspiration more, you know, like learn what kind of stuff that you like to make. You know, you like, we all try to be sensible, like, so like sometimes we kind of think about making stuff that other people will enjoy and other people will find valuable, and something that is, you know, like contributive in the sense of, like, you know, it contributes new ideas to the art form, you know, it's original, all of these like kind of like technical considerations, right? You know, and yeah, you know, you need a bit of that, but like if you find yourself kind of like unmotivated, then like maybe it's a sign that you need to kind of like connect more with what you actually want to make, right? Because I assure you that, like, when you find something that you actually want to make, you don't need to watch any motivational videos, because you will just do it, right? You will do it, you'll become obsessed with it, right? That's what inspiration does. And that's great, right? Do more of that, you know, as I am, right? But sometimes there are just some things that you have to practice that aren't necessarily that exciting or inspirational, right? Like on piano, you have to practice scales and like licks and like things like that, you know, voicings and like arrangements. Is like, it's not terribly exciting, you know. It's not as exciting as like bearing your soul and making the kind of music that you like. But even to make the kind of music that you like, right, or the kind of music that I like, I have to learn. Like I have to like kind of like try and like basically refine a really foggy idea of a piece of music in my head into a more kind of like theoretically like kind of relatable and like just sort of clearer image, right? And in order to do that, like I have to like practice, right? I have to experiment. I have to like try new things. I have to like, you know, I have to think a bit about what I'm doing. Production wise, I have to find new sounds, right? I have to think about like arrangements. I have to think about like so many things, and like it's very technical, you know, right? Like the technical side of creation is something that like artists typically don't. They have to like kind of work at it, right? You know, no artists, you know, like maybe there are some, right? But most artists like probably don't get into something and like are immediately like kind of technically savvy. It's like they have to like get over like their kind of inertia towards like the technical side of their art. Before slowly building a process that's efficient and enjoyable, right? So how do you do that? You baby step it, right? So like for the technical side, you know, for the side that requires work, like, you know, if I want to make like a track every month or every 2 months, right? I kind of have to work at it most days, right? You know, I might take a day off here or there, right, where I don't do anything, right, and just take a day off. But like by and large, both for actually making the thing, you know, making the piece of music, but also like for myself, like to grow as an artist and to improve my skills and like to become more familiar with the process and my tools, you know, I have to do it quite regularly, right? I can't do what I used to do, which is like work intensively for like, you know, like for like, you know, a couple days, right, and then do nothing for a few months, you know, because I wasn't feeling inspired. It's like you can't really do that. Eventually, if you want to get serious, you have to get to a stage where you can at least do it like regularly, right? You know, you get to decide how to like what regular means, but you have to do it, like you have to kind of decide that for yourself, right? So baby stepping it means, right, like the absolute bottom line is you have to do it regularly. If you can't do it every day, do it every other day. If you can't do it every other day, do it once a week, right? But you have to do it, you know. And if you sit there and you're dreading, like you're already anticipating the creative block, you're already anticipating like the inertia and not knowing what to do and like all the frustration of like not having your vision like being realized right in front of you, right, without you having to do anything, like you have to like stand up or like take a deep breath and be like, okay, what can I do? So another way of articulating this is like going from a, oh shit, I have so much to do mentality to like, okay, what can I do right now mentality. And like that's a challenging mentality for someone. Like I used to like, even if you told me that, right, like I used to kind of like be like, what do you mean? Oh, I still don't know if I can do it, you know. It's just like the inertia is so strong. But you really just have to be like, okay, like what one thing can I do? And like the shift in mentality is from like completion, like because we're all kind of like completion seeking. We all just want to do it, you know, get that piece of art out there, publish that shit, right? Why isn't it published yet? How much longer is this going to take? Like we're all kind of rushing to the end, right? But like the flip in your mentality has to be, right, like where you start to think, okay, like this is going to take a while, right? And instead of worrying about when it's going to be finished, I'm just going to take it a day at a time. That's all I can do, right? And then if I do it, I can reward myself. I can do something else, right? That's the kind of mentality that you need to get into, right? So like you're like, okay, what can I do? Like I'm really not feeling up to it. What can I do? Okay, I can do this, right? And it does take a bit of willpower. Not to do it necessarily, but to think in that way, like critically, like, okay, what can I do? Right? What can I do? Right? Could I just edit this MIDI region in my DAW project file window? Just 4 bars, right? Just a little section. Can I do that? Yes, I can. Okay, let's do it. Right? And then like you do it, and then like if you're like, okay, I could do more, then you do more, right? But like if you do it and you're fucking exhausted, right? Then you can be like, okay, like I did something. It was one thing, right? It was one little thing that probably doesn't amount to anything really. You know, I did like a paisley little one thing, right? And it's like, but you still did something, right? Because the alternative would have been like you didn't do anything. Like you were like thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna make this track, but you don't do fucking anything, right? Whereas like even if you just do a small thing, you actually did something, right? And yeah, and you know, that's basically it, right? And then and if I can't edit 4 whole bars of one MIDI region in my big project, then maybe I'll edit one note, or maybe I'll do something else that's a bit easier, right? But the point is, like, you have to do at least one thing. Like, and then like okay, so this is the thing, right? I'm assuming that you're serious. I'm serious. Do I procrastinate? Fuck yes. Do I bullshit myself? Fuck yes. You know? I'm a person just like you, just like everyone else, right? But like the thing is that like I'm guessing that you're serious in the sense that if you chose something that you love, even though it's hard, you know, the path to mastery is long and arduous. In the sense that like it doesn't happen overnight. It's something that you have to like sustain and keep going and improving and breaking old paradigms and entering new paradigms and changing your mentality. All of this like you need to do, right? But if you're serious, aka you really want to be a musician, you really want to be an artist, right? You know, you really want to be a teacher, you really want to be like a business person, right? If you really want to do that thing that you love, then you are serious. And you'll sustain it. You'll do it. You know, yeah, you procrastinate here and there like I do, but like, you will do it, right? But this is a tool that you can take, or not so much a tool, but like a mental tool, I guess you can say. Like, you know, it's something that I learned. And people talk, this isn't original, this is completely not original, but like, this is just my version of it, is like, you know, baby step it, you know? And then if you did something, pat yourself on the back, right? Again, the goal is not necessarily to finish a project. It is, but like, if you make that the primary focus, like, it's more difficult to motivate yourself. Because it's just not very inspiring, and like it makes you focus on all the things that are left to do, as opposed to like doing what you can, making progress that way, right, slowly, little by little, and then ultimately enjoying it, because you're not sitting there going like, I can't finish this project, I have so much to do. It's like, yeah, occasionally you have to like, you know, zoom out a bit and see like, okay, I need to finish this project, right? But like the thing is that like, at the end of the day, life is long game, right? Your career to be, you know, your purpose to be is a long game, right? And as long as you keep going, you know, you'll make it. And how do you keep going? You learn to enjoy the process, right? So cool. Anyway, it's getting really dark. Like, I actually have one more entry. Like, I apologize. Like, it's gonna be in the dark. Like, maybe if I can turn this on, maybe that makes it a bit better. I don't really like the red hue it gives, but like it might be better. Any case, so cool. Yeah, so that's this entry, guys. So yeah, the first tip was put your light first. Like don't get okay. Don't get overwhelmed by darkness. Don't be like, okay, I need to be tough and I need to make shit happen now. That's the pitfall that we need to watch out for, right? It's useful to get into a state where like, okay, I'm gonna fucking hustle. I'm gonna make this happen, right? That's okay sometimes, but like when you're starting to feel overwhelmed, like just take a step back and breathe in your love. Like remember, like the love that you have for the thing that you do, and let that nourish you, right? And you'll be just fine, right? Tip number 2 was baby step it. When you're lacking motivation, when you're just like, oh my god, fuck, I don't know what to do. Like, I have so much to do. I'm not good enough. I don't have the skills yet. I've got so much to learn. Should I find a mentor? Should I read more books on it? Should I watch more YouTube videos? Thing? Yeah. But like, if you want to practice the actual thing, then like baby step it. Do that one thing. Like if you're a writer, write a paragraph. Write a paragraph. You can write a paragraph, right? In one day. That's, if you can't manage that, write a sentence. If you can't manage that, write a word. But do something, right? Anyway, so cool. Those are my 2 tips for hopefully all of us to succeed in what we love. And yeah, just keep going, like I'm sure you will, because hey, I don't need to tell you this. But like, yeah, like being on the journey of the heart is awesome, because like you don't have to like, yeah, this is motivation, we all need to motivate ourselves, but like we don't deal with the same motivational issues that most people have, right? Because most people aren't doing something, they don't have as much adversity and like self-doubt that we have to overcome, right? But like they have more motivational issues because like their motivation's just not that deep. But love and passion, name one thing that's deeper than that, right? So like, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Keep going. And I hope you will, yeah, stick in there. So cool. Thank you very much for watching this, guys, as usual. I hope it's been insightful. And as always, this is Bojinjin signing off. I will see you in the next entry where I will talk about something else. But yeah, it'll be similar tone, not too dark, right? Again, it would be like a tips that, I can give you. So cool. Look forward to it. And as always, I hope you guys are well. And I will catch you in the next vlog, the Bojinjin. Peace out, guys. I love you. Bye.